Hello, what's up? I'm Brian here doing another video for you guys, and this time you're probably wondering what's with the webcam quality. It looks weird. Well, my current webcam that I usually use is just not working. I don't know why it won't hook up to anything, so unfortunately I can't use that. And you're probably wondering, why am I so late on talking about this news? Because it came out on Friday. Well, the reason why is because it completely slipped my mind. I completely forgot that, oh yeah, there's stuff I needed to talk about. There's stuff I needed to do a video on. Maybe it had something to do with the fact that I did a reaction live stream to it, or it just completely slipped my mind. But regardless, we're doing it now, and we're going to be talking about some of the highlights for the Transformers toys on the Fan First Friday that just recently happened. Now, there's also a VR game, there's also the COM app that had crossovers with Transformers. I'm not going to discuss those because I'm not super interested in them. And there's some other toys like the Red Series. I really want that Knockout. It sounds like the Red Series might not be a Walmart exclusive anymore, but now a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, which I hate if that's the case, even though I'm not into the Red Series. I wanted that Knockout, so at least I wanted that, and now they're going to turn around and do that. Ugh. And so there's the Knockout and the Ultra Magnus, which is just a repaint of the Optimus Prime without the Matrix, so nothing really special there. And then there's also some of the vintage toys. There's the Tigertron and the Scorponok, but we already know about that. In fact, some stores are selling those figures, so there's not really much to talk about there. However, what I will talk about, even though we do know about this, is the Legacy new wave of Walmart exclusive figures, and I'm actually kind of surprised that these are Walmart exclusives, given the fact that apparently we are due for a Velocitron lineup coming later in the year. I'm not sure if that's 100% true or if things are going to eventually change, but for right now, these are going to be the first Walmart exclusives of the Legacy lineup, and people were a little confused because it looked like a Wave 2 lineup, because there was no labels or no significant package difference compared to the main line, but this isn't necessarily new for Transformers figures. If you remember, there was a Last Night Hot Rod Deluxe class figure that came out long ago, and I believe that there was a different package version that was similar to what you would generally see for the Premier Edition of the Last Night toys. Anyways, the first thing I want to bring up is Sandstorm. So yes, another Sandstorm. Sandstorm has seen so many different versions. If you think, oh, it's just the G1, no, there are plenty of others, not just even these three. But yes, this is another version of Sandstorm, which a lot of people also associate as the Shattered Glass version of Scorponok because the colors were reused for that. And yeah, this is basically a repaint of the Kingdom Scorponok that we already have. And a lot of people don't like it. Personally, I'm fine with it, but I think I'm better off with it being a Sandstorm figure because I'm not really necessarily associating the difference between the CGI model and the toy. I feel like this one can get away with the differences a little bit more because there's no CGI render or no show accurate version of Sandstorm. And I gotta say that I do like the colors. They were actually pointing out that the colors for this actually worked with the backdrop that they had set up, with the purple and the oranges. So that's kind of nice. And yeah, I think the colors blend well for a Scorpion mode. Of course, we have the robot mode. Now, one thing you will notice is that the head sculpt is more based on the, I believe this is the alternate head for the toy originally. And there's also a rumor that we are going to get a toy version of Scorponok, and I imagine that it's going to come with this head sculpt. But yeah, pretty much, you know, it's the same thing for the mold aside from the head sculpt. And, you know, I don't necessarily mind it. It still has that weird cutoff in the torso. And I think it's weirder here because it's all that kind of mustardy yellow color. So there's no breakup between what's the actual torso, and then you can see the hinge that attaches to the leg, so it all just looks like a block. But other than that, I do like the bright orange. It's very bright colors on this thing. Moving right along, we also have Buzzsaw, again, another figure that we knew about, but it's going to be a Walmart exclusive figure. And we do actually have images of some of the stock images for these figures with the white backdrop. I didn't bring them up, but those were actually revealed just before the Fan First Friday event. But you could see all the packagings for these Walmart exclusive toys, and Buzzsaw does look pretty cool. I do like the color scheme with the black and yellow, especially with the purple and green added in. I don't know, it's just a very nice color scheme. I know some people don't like it. I think one of the people that were behind the event even said that, oh, I didn't really typically like Buzzsaw's color scheme up until this point. And I really do like it. I like the wings. I know some people don't, but it kind of reminds me of the Venom symbiote. So, I don't know, there's just something kind of liquidy and black. It kind of looks like something from, what's the game? The Ink Machine, the Bendy Ink Machine. So yeah, I really do like it, and of course I love the Waspinator mold, so any repaint they want to do, I'm on board with. I think the robot mode looks good. I like the fact that they use the robot-style head for the original toy on the Buzzsaw figure, because that's what they normally use for the Buzzsaw design later on. I also like the black fade from the knees going into the legs, and yeah, any excuse to get more of... Oh, he's hooking on the Cheetor. Any excuse to get more of this guy, I'm totally on board with. So, no issues there. Although, they also pointed out that the weapon was accurate, and I'm like, yeah, you sure about that? I don't think so. It's missing a little piece that kind of tags onto it. Anyways, there's also Nightprowler. Now, for a lot of people, they don't seem to like Nightprowler, and I kind of understand why. Me, personally, I am super thrilled about this. So, Nightprowler is based on an original, I think it was Walmart exclusive, that was meant to come out and had a prototype toy, but it never released, unfortunately. So, it's just a character that just never seemed to happen. And so they decided with the new Cheetor mold that they were going to go ahead and release, finally after so long, a Walmart exclusive version of Cheetor that would change into Nightprowler. And I like it a lot. You know, I like the gray, I like the black. I've always liked this color scheme. I always like the idea of Nightprowler. I don't know, it's just ever since I saw that figure and that design, I fell in love with it. So I would really love to get an official version of Nightprowler. I think, despite the fact that a lot of people like the other ones, this is the one that's on my radar at the current moment. And then, of course, we got the robot mode. And again, I can kind of see why people don't like the color scheme. Me, personally, I really do. I think the yellow really stands out against the gray. And, of course, he is a remold of the Cheetor, which was on a lot of people's worst lists for the year. And I still like it a lot. I mean, I get the color scheme. Some people don't like that sky blue. But I think it kind of blends with the yellow. I don't know. Maybe that's just a personal thing. But yeah, I'm totally on board with this. You know, of course, he's got his tail weapon. And this time he's an Autobot instead of a Maximal. They wanted to change it up. And I believe the reason why is because the original toy that this was based on, they slapped an Autobot symbol instead of a Maximal symbol. So they wanted to keep that up. But yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm excited for that. So no problems there. Moving right along, we also have Junkyard. Or is it Junkyard? No, it's Junkyard. God, the two names always screw me up. But yeah, I will quickly touch up on this because some people are getting them and have been reviews on them. But I'm excited for this. I mean, I love the Wreck-Gar. I've got the Wreck-Gar, so I can't wait for another Junkyard to have this guy sit on. I know that sounded weird, but of course they can ride each other, which is a nice touch. And I gotta say, more so for this color scheme, it reminds me of like some sort of cop bike from the 80s. I don't know what specific bike. You can also see the panels on the side that will attach, and just add some extra detail. They mentioned that in some frames. Junkyard, if you look at the original movie, does not have it, but you will also see that in some of the drawings that they made for the characters, that he does have those panels, so it was kind of a choice whether or not to bring those in, and they decided to. I'm glad they did it just to make a difference between the two. I mean, of course, you have the chest, that's also different, and of course, the head sculpt is very different compared to his original form, but I really do like how he came out, and I like the fact that he's got a little blaster attached to the sidearm. Most of the weapons are pretty much the same, you know, you got the wheels on the legs and whatnot, and yeah, I really do like how it came out. And then this one had me flip. I am so thrilled about this because I love the Dinobots from the Studio Series line. Even though my slug has kind of broken down in a couple of places, I still love the overall look of him, especially compared to Grimlock. In fact, I decided to bring them out. So we got them right here. There's Grimlock. You can see in my fuzzy webcam. And there's Slug. So this is going to work well between them. And I think this is, out of everything, the number one thing that I have to get. He's also got an articulated neck, which is pretty awesome. And I love how angry he looks. You can see the eyes right there. And they continue the flare effect mouthpiece. So usually they have a little pin that will attach a flare effect. So he's got that. He's got no secondary character, but I totally understand that. It seems like he does have a port to attach that, but I'm not necessarily sure. But what I will say here is that, yes, I'm happy about it, and hopefully they'll do the rest. I'm still not sure if they'll do Snarl, but I feel like they have to if they do the rest. I know some people are nitpicking whether or not they should because he was only seen in a couple of frames, but when you think of it, if you think of the Dinobots as a whole, it'd just be weird if you have 4 out of the 5 of them, unless you just can't find them or couldn't get them. But, I mean, I'm certain they're going to do a swoop. I believe that's a rumor coming out later in the year. But at the current moment, we do have confirmation for a Sludge. So that's awesome, and I think he looks really good. Very powerful looking. And the robot mode does look pretty good for the most part. I do think that the cannon looks a little weird. It's a little short. But I do like the gold accents to it. And I'm very impressed. He looks like he's in line with the other Dinobots. So, yeah, I'm on board with this. I have no problems whatsoever. I even flipped when I saw it during the live stream. And then we also have the Bumblebee movie version of Arcee. So, for this figure, we have seen renders of it before. There was an announcement and sort of a reveal of this figure. Someone had it in hand. They even showed during the live stream that you can flip down the legs, or the feet I should say, and have the wheels, much like Sideswipe did. And I gotta say, looking at the toy form, I really do like it. So this is going to be a Cybertronian version of Arcee, although whether or not the original Arcee was more Cybertronian than Earth is up to you, because it's a fictional car. But I gotta say, I really do like it. I especially love the fact that you don't have to detach the guns, you can just leave them on the hand, so that's a nice touch. And the color scheme looks right. You can see the references between the original G1 version with the car hood on top there, but it is more blending a motorcycle to a car, and I think that's a nice touch. You could also see that they did not tab the legs properly. You could see that in the middle there, but other than that, I mean, I really do like how this turned out, because I've always complained about Arcee's alt mode does not lend enough for the robot mode. You can definitely tell that with the Masterpiece and the Earthrise figure. So getting something like this to where they're like, okay, you know what, let's base it off the original alt mode, but let's do something different that's going to help out the robot mode, I'm fine with it. Of course, when it comes to more of an Earth style car, I would rather them change parts of the robot mode to really help out with that. But for right now, considering that there is a version of Arcee to base on with the robot mode, let's go ahead and change up the alt mode so it doesn't mess up. So I'm fine with that. And then the robot mode, like I said, looks really cool. You can see that the backpack has ball joints, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. If it's going to tab into place or if it's just going to be loose like that. But I think the details are on point. I think the head sculpt does look pretty nice. As far as being a reference to the original Bumblebee movie, whether you like that design or not is up to you. I do like the heel spurs using the wheels, and overall I just think that the design works in its favor. I like it a lot. And then another figure that was revealed is Ironhide. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it does seem to be mostly a repaint of the Ratchet. It sounded like when they were explaining this figure that it's going to be a remold, like there was going to be some other touches other than the head. But what I'll show you later on is it doesn't seem like there's a lot of differences. In fact, it seems like it's pretty much one-to-one, except for the colors on the head. So I'm not entirely sure. I also caught someone saying that this was lazy because it was a Ratchet repaint, and it's like, do you not know about Ironhide and Ratchet? You should probably look that up, buddy. Yeah, I do like the overall alt mode. I do like the fact that they gave it the gold stripe as a nod to the original G1. And, you know, I like the Ratchet alt mode. Originally, I thought it was kind of lazy because I thought I could tell what the transformation was going to be, and then we saw the transformation in a couple of videos, and man, it's crazy. It's a lot different than what I was expecting. Of course, you could plug the gun on top, which doesn't look great, but this is a Cybertronian alt mode, so it's not the worst thing. And I do like the fact that they use the chest as the front window. Of course they would, you know, that's no surprise. But yeah, I do think it looks, you know, pretty wicked. And then the robot mode does look very nice. It does look kind of wide. with the transformation bits. You can see the wheels underneath there. In fact, looking at that kind of makes me want to repaint this as a Soundwave, kind of based on the Cyberverse or the Robots in Disguise version of Soundwave. But I think overall it does look pretty nice. I like the gray details. The lighter gray is alright, but the red I think stands out, and the head sculpt looks pretty good. Definitely looks like Ironhide, of course, as it should. You know, it's got that little mohawk piece. But it's a little more subtle than some other versions of Ironhide. But it's still there. You can still notice it. Yeah, I think that the design works in its favor. And there's the comparison with Ratchet. Again, I couldn't really spot any differences between the mold other than the head. I know I'm repeating that, but yeah, with that out of the way, yeah, that looks pretty nice. And then there's also another figure that I want to talk about, and it's kind of weird because when Fan First Friday started, they talked about the Beast Wars reissues, and then we saw this before any announcement, but for some reason, it just was not in the Fan First Friday, and that is the Beast Wars reissue, Cybershark. So this is coming out, this is one of the stock images, and it made a lot of people happy because even though this isn't based on that Skybite design pre-mold, what's cool about this is that the original Cybershark, some people have that toy but are missing a ton of parts. They're probably missing the front of the head because I believe it has a launching feature. They're missing some part of the backpack, I believe, and just other things. So what's cool about this is it gives you an opportunity to complete or have a complete version of Cybershark. So that's pretty cool. We have a picture of the robot boat, and I do think it looks pretty alright. It is kind of weird that he's a Maximal. I was not expecting that because I always pictured this as a Predacon to me, and I guess I was wrong this entire time. But the head does look pretty awesome with the teeth, and of course you got that tail weapon. So that's pretty awesome that they're doing some obscure figures. There's also a code for, and this was rumored a while back too, along with Cybershark, that K9 would be getting a figure as well. So keep your eye out for that. Apparently that's also getting a figure. So anyways, with that said, what do you guys think? Please comment below, let me know. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and all those fun doodads. Again, I apologize for the quality of webcam, but you know, just things happen. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.
AllSpark TV. Now that's just pride.